Welcome to the On the Hunt podcast. My name's Elijah Winfrey. Joining me, as always, is Bobby Bless, Nate Rucker, and Reggie Funchess. First and most important question I'm going to ask, and I'm going to go in order of how I see them on my screen here. We're going to go Bobby Bless first. Bobby, how's it going, my friend?
It's going good today, guys. Like I've said a couple times to you already. I'm starting to enjoy Tuesday. It's fun hanging with you guys. I'm learning a lot from all you guys. We all do our part to make sure we get a good show. And last week we had little issues, but hey, as smart gentlemen as we are, we worked it out. Everybody seemed to be happy with it. But other than that, I'm good. How about you, brother?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm not saying that that we practice this, but this is certainly not our first time today. But Reggie, how's it going, my friend?
It's smooth sailing over here, brother.
All right. Well, hey, at least one of us has got smooth sailing. Okay, we're gonna toss it over to Nate Rucker. Nate, my friend, how is it going? He's laughing. That's how you know it's gonna be a good show when Nate's on screen laughing for everybody. But Nate, how's it going?
I am being AO 101 copacetic.
You know, it's funny because every time I've heard you say that today, you've gotten better each time. So let's hope the same thing for when you go over our sponsorships, because we are trying to raise the stakes here on this show. And the way that we do that is by getting sponsorships. So Nate, tell the folks how they can be involved. How can they sponsor the On the Hunt podcast?
First of all, we want to welcome everybody watching, and we want to encourage everybody to truly invest in the show, be a part of it with us, because this just isn't about us. This is about y'all too. So, if y'all really want to expand y'all business, you want to get your name out there, then welcome it. We truly do. So, if you want to sponsor a segment, that's $60 per segment. If you want to come on the show, that's $80 per show, just for you to appear now. Now, if you want to just sponsor the entire show from the beginning to the end, hey, that's $100. So remember, y'all, this is, we want to get to the point where we're doing commercials for you guys. We want to, to expand your brand. So if you don't have, the money for billboards, you might not, have the immense social media account that Elijah has or Bobby Bless has. You might not have as many followers as those guys. This is the best way to do it. Get it out there. Let people know that, hey, this is what I do for my business, and I'm backing this show. So by you backing this show, hey, we will show our support. We will make sure we reach as many people as we can for you, and that's our sponsorships. So hey, back to you, Elijah.
Thank you so much, Nate. And yeah, we want to encourage folks, again, be a part of what we're doing here, because we think what we're doing is pretty dang special. And part of the reason why it is so special is because of guys like Reggie and the segment that we're about to do right now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try one of our new gadgets here, and we will see how well this works out. So let's see. I believe the numbers are on the screen. By the numbers, Reggie Funchess, take it away.
Woo-woo. The numbers on the screen, my brother, and that's step 1 and 2. So we want to start with the defense. And Alex Anzalone, he had his best game out of the 2 years that he's been here. He had 8 tackles. He had 1 QB pressure. He had the 1 pass breakup that we had as a team on Sunday. That's just sad in itself. But PFF's grade of 80.9. You see his coverage grade, 88.9. And I guess that 1 pass breakup actually boosted his numbers. But it also showed that he had a tackling grade of 81.4, which is
really, he was flying.
Yeah, and he ended up doing what he was supposed to do. So that was the best thing that we could hope for out of. And
finally,
the linebackers have been struggling. Outside of Malcolm. Now I know there's been a lot of talk about Aiden Hutchinson's impact over the last few games. People have been questioning whether he should have been drafted and all this other kind of nonsense. But if you pay attention to what we see on these grades, you got 8.1, right? On defense. Tackling grade is 71.7. And he's doing what he's supposed to do right now. He's learning on the fly on a bad team, trying to make plays. He's learning how to develop moves and not just develop a move, but to finish it with a tackle or a sack. So we just want to keep paying attention to his development as the year goes on, and really keep in mind that he's a rookie. I mean, that's the biggest thing right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we have to kind of give the same flip side to Jeff Okudah. Yeah, bad game, man.
Yeah. I'm looking at this number. That don't look good at all.
Across the board, as far as his grades, outside of his run defense, which is actually pretty decent, he had 2 pass interference calls. Both were on Patriots drives that were scores. So they were pivotal mistakes that he made. But that's to be expected. He's still working the kinks out. He's still learning the different guys that he's going against. So we really want to kind of be patient with him as well. And then he was coming off the beating that he got from Metcalf also. So it's going to be a lot of transition when it comes to him, but we want to keep being patient with Jeff Okudah as well. If we're going to switch over to the offense, my brother. Now, on offense, of course, we all like, well, what could you possibly be talking about on offense when we scored 0 points? I'm just going to focus on the best points that we can. The offensive line did decent. Yeah, they did decent. If you notice, out of our top 5 highest rated offensive players, 3 of them are offensive linemen. So I'm putting it down for the big fellas again. All right. Now, Panay is doing his job, man. I mean, this is what you want out of an offensive lineman, somebody that is a staple, that is consistent, that is going to do his job day in, day out. And that's what it's really reflected in his grades. And next week, I'm actually going to show you all what his overall grade is for the season. I want to say he's our top 3 highest rated offensive player. And you also see that we also ran the ball decently, despite what was going on between Craig Reynolds and Jamal Williams. The biggest thing that I thought was intriguing was Craig Reynolds showing up as a pass catcher, being a good runner, being an outlet for Jeff Goff when he didn't have none because Swift was still injured. So we're showing that we can still have a good, decent running game and production out of our running backs. You see out of his grades, he was a 770.8. He was our highest rated offensive player this week. Of course, Amon Ra, Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds has actually been really consistent. Even though he had 2 drops on Sunday, he's been very consistent, man. He's actually what exactly you wanted to see on the other side of Amon Ra until Jameson Williams gets healthy and makes his debut. But he had 6 catches for 92 yards. Like I said, that's essentially what you want out of him. But on the flip side, you got what Jared Goff put up. I don't know what to say, man. I mean, it's depressing. It's depressing. Like you come off a game, and actually, you know what, fellas, I'm a give you some numbers. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it, and we'll go from there. Coming into this game, the Lions scored 140 points, most in the NFL. We also gave up 141, most in the NFL. We're the 30th team in the Super Bowl era to score 140 plus points in the first 4 games, but we're also the first to post a losing record. That's depressing. But it moves to the second point. On Sunday, we were 0 for 6 on 4th down. Worst single game 4th down performance in league history.
No.
We also set a franchise record by allowing 170 points in the first 5 games of the season. And that's worse than our 3-12 2002 team allowed, which is 169 points. And here's my final sad stat. Detroit became the 4th era to have scored at least 45 points in a game and then got shut out in the next game.
Wow.
I mean, if you're going to do something, do it all the way, right, fellas?
I mean, if you're going to lose, you might as well record-breaking lose. But it brings me to a point, man. If you're going to sit up here and we want to talk about firing coaches and all that other stuff, here's a number that I want y'all to keep in mind. When Caldwell was a coach, he had a 56% winning percentage in his 4-year tenure, higher than any Lions coach in the last 60 years. We made the playoffs twice. We won 11. He won 11 games in his first season. The record for Patricia and Campbell since Caldwell was fired, 1850-2. 1850-2. Now we can give a little bit of patience to Campbell because he inherited a team that's rebuilding. But right now, these numbers are looking real ugly. And so at least you thinking behind the numbers, what is this organization?
You gotta have some W's. Gotta get the W's, man.
Yeah. So Elijah, I'm gonna kick it back for our game impressions. And I'll let you figure that out, my brother, because I'm sad.
Well, you know,
It'll be all right, Reg. It'll be all right.
I appreciate Reggie's honesty there, and I hope that everybody could see everything. I know we could here on the recording, but we'll see when you know folks on YouTube say, "Hey, all I did was stare at Elijah making a face the entire time." Hopefully, that's not what happened. But anyway, game impressions. We're gonna spend a few minutes on this here. We're gonna go over to Bobby first. Bobby, I want to remind you that your family members might be watching, so watch your curse words, my friend. Watch your curse words. Watch your profile.
Well, I was in that kind of cussing mood until like the On the Hunt podcast is becoming more than a podcast. It's actually a group. You know what I mean? We consoling each other, man. I was ready to jump off the roof with some of this stuff I seen. I was ready, you know, we getting it together, man. We can come in here and say, hey, my name is Bobby Bless, and yes, the Lions had damaged me, but you guys got me together, man. I swear, man, I don't even need the 12 steps this week. And I'm just thankful because, like, I have nothing really positive to say about the dang old gang. And like my guy, Reggie, was telling us if you want the coach fired, I was kind of the one of them, but y'all got me back. Y'all brought me back, man. Because
that's what we do.
Talked about, y'all got me back, man. I was lost for a minute, but y'all got me back because we talked about our expectations of the team. We talked about how this team was going to be in between 5 to 8 wins or around that area. And what we seen Sunday is a byproduct of that kind of team. That's what 6 wins look like. That's what 7 wins look like. So it's going to be a few games where you just want to just shake your head and throw stuff at the TV. But when you guys explained to me how, when we talked about in our meeting, how Hard Knocks upped our expectations and we need to really get back to reality. And that's all what it is. I don't really have nothing to say about the game. I just know that when I got to work, didn't nobody even want to make fun of me because they already know what kind of Lions fan I am. They didn't nobody want to shoot no shots or nothing. Monday was like the smoothest day at work in like a while because I was so ready for somebody to be, the Lions didn't score or they was the number one, because I was talking that talk the week before. We the number one team in the league. Don't pay no attention to that defense. We don't need them. And then the offense didn't show up. So I was just like, man, who gonna cook me today? I got through work clear, smooth, without no problems. But I just want wins, guys. Hopefully this bye week get us in that direction, get us some health. But you know what really interested me more than what I got to say? What do Elijah got to say? Mr. Positive. I know you got something good, Elijah.
Oh man, Mr. Positive. So you okay?
Mr. Positive.
Pressure on me already. Okay, so here's
Disney. I need the Disney version. Go ahead, brother.
All right.
There you go, the Disney version.
Here we go. All right. So here's the deal. All right. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to think about the best offense you've ever seen in your life in football. And I want you to think about the best defense you've ever seen in your life in football. What do all of them have in common?
A Super Bowl.
But well, hey, we ain't going that far. I ain't that positive.
Playoff win.
But here's my point. Okay, here's my point. Every single one of them faced a road bump where you question, are they actually that good or not? Every single one of them did. They faced that team that gave them issues. And then they had to take the footage, learn from the footage, and either get back on the horse and keep riding as the best defense or best offense, or go to shambles. We know we have the best offense in this league. Statistically, that's what it shows. We have the best offense in this league. The question is, what do we do during this bye week? Do we get back on the horse and ride again? Or do we fall to shambles and say, well, we had a few good weeks? So that's my first thought. My first thought of this game was, okay, I knew eventually we're going to face a team that's going to punch us in the mouth. And I want to see what we do when that happens. So it's now happened. What happens from here? The other thing that I was looking at is the fact that we have got probably the most injuries in this entire league. And so this bye week couldn't have happened at a better time, to be perfectly honest with you. We have been missing DeAndre Swift. I love Jamal Williams. I love Craig Reynolds, but neither one of them are DeAndre Swift. And when you're missing that in your offense, it makes a difference. And you see that difference out there on the field. And when you're missing a healthy Amon-Ra St. Brown, when you're missing DJ Shark, which, listen, DJ Shark may not show up in the stat column, but I guarantee you defenses are paying attention to him.
Yeah, because he's so fast.
He's so fast. He's drawing that attention, which opens things up for Amon-Ra. Now, I love what Reggie had to say about Craig Reynolds and what he said about our other receiver who, forgive me, I'm blanking on his name.
Josh.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds. I love what he had to say about that because they are doing what they're supposed to do. They're stepping up, but they're still not DJ Shark or DeAndre Swift. And that's just something that we have to understand. We always hear next man up. But the thing is, not many teams have next man up, and that second guy is just as good as that first guy. So that's something that we need to consider. But for me, I knew it was going to happen eventually. It happened this week against the Patriots, against Bill Belichick, who is the best coach to ever do it. So now what happens? What happens for Ben Johnson? What does he do now to adjust to make sure that never happens again? That's what I got. I'm going to toss it over here to Reggie for his impressions of the game. Reggie, what did you think?
To tell you the truth, brother, it goes back to my favorite saying: expectations versus reality. When you have
what you said. That's what you said to me when I was on that cliff, man. You said, Bobby, expectations.
Expectations versus reality. And a lot of times we need to be reminded of what it is we need to do, what we need to do, or what the team can do, what they're capable of doing, and the transition to what they need to do to become winners. In this situation, we got exposed. We got exposed on both sides of the ball. And this is what Bill Belichick does. He finds the weakness or your strength. He finds your strength and tries to take your strength away. And that's what he did on Sunday. He literally just took our offense completely out of the game. It was a non-factor. We tried to run the ball, but it just wasn't as effective as it was in the previous games. Golf wasn't as effective as he had been in the past. Of course, Amon-Ra being dinged up, he wasn't able to perform to the level that we're used to at this point. And, Elijah just said it best, the fact that we got Swift missing, we got Shark missing, we got our players that we were supposed to lean on in this season, they haven't been here in the last couple of games. And that's going to have an effect, especially on coaching. You got to sit up here and when your coach sees that he is missing so much, it leads to him making decisions that he wouldn't typically make if we were healthy.
Well, Mr. Reggie, in your opinion, what would be the first thing you would do to get us in the right direction as far as coaching, though? What kind of like, what mindset would a coach have that's coming off this loss and has a bye to prepare for the next game? What mindset would you use, or how would you get getting the team's ear to keep them from
Really?
to keep them believing.
So really, to tell you the truth, is about having a short memory. I'm not even going.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, I'm not going to highlight anything out of this game. What I am going to highlight is what we did positive in all the weeks leading up to this week. What are the things that we could build on? What are the things that we need to scrap? If I'm a coach, I'm looking at, okay, look, I'll even get input from my players. How do you feel about it? What do you think? What adjustments do you feel like you need to make? Mind you, this is a coaching staff that's filled with former players. And so they have a perspective just like the players that are playing on the field. So I'm getting all the input that I can. Defensively, really is about getting everybody back as far as like for getting everybody back healthy. So like Elijah said, man, this bye week, man, if we had a week 12 bye week or week 11 bye week, this could get ugly real fast. But now they can regroup. They can focus on what they did positive. They can try to get, honestly, I was looking at the fact that you can get Swift healthy, Amon-Ra healthy, Shark healthy, and you might see the debut of Jameson coming out of the bye week.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, they have been hinting at the fact that he's getting close to making his debut. So usually a bye week, a week where he can just focus on getting ramped up. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing the coming out of the bye week.
Well, my thoughts on that, because I swear, man, I know you into the religion. I'm gonna say amen, because I believe everything you said to the word. You actually said it better than I can, and I appreciate that. But I want to see Dan Campbell. You know, everybody know he's a player's coach, and sometimes when we were a player coach, we tend to think we are the players or still one of the players. You got to have that kind of room for what word I'm looking for, authority. I want to see Dan Campbell be more of a coach than the players coach. It's always good to go roll with you guys, but we need the chaperone too. No, I need the guy to keep us from doing things that we normally wouldn't do, like all those going for it on fourth downs. I think a lot of times that changes the momentum if you do or don't.
But you know what, brother? Yeah. One thing I gotta remind you.
Yes, sir.
Normal situations, like I said, if my defense was showing up, this is about trust. If I trust my defense,
right,
my special teams, I don't have to go for fourth downs all the time. I could do it in the flow of the game, or in an instance where I'm saying I trust my offense to get it, or I don't trust my kicker, but it's fine because my offense can get it, or I can trust my defense to get a stop. He doesn't have that as a coach right now.
Right.
That's our impressions, Elijah. I'm gonna kick it back to you, my brother, so we can transition to
story time.
Story time. Yeah.
Go for it,
my brother.
Because I know you had some input on from a coach's perspective. It says we got done talking
about those fourth downs too, man. Yeah. Okay. I want to hear it, man.
So here's the deal. All right. I did coach semi-professional football up here in New York. And I was a quarterbacks coach for a little bit. I was an offensive coordinator for a little bit. And then I was a head coach, all in the span of like 2 years, because in semi-pro football, you kind of rise up the ranks pretty quickly when other people don't show up. Okay. So that's just me being honest with everybody right out the gate, because I'm not trying to, pretend that I'm Bill Belichick or anything like that. But let me give you some context of the team that I coached. Okay. And then I'll work into answering what Reggie and Bobby are talking about. So the team that I coached, the year that I became their head coach, was a tough year, because the year prior, they had 3 games that they played out of the 10 they were supposed to. And what kept happening is the players on the team kept getting too injured to continue the game after halftime, because they take semi-pro football pretty seriously here in the state of New York. And so when I inherited this team, I inherited a team that was losing 88-0 or 56-0, and then the game was called a halftime. So my first thing that I tried to do right out the gate was I tried to encourage the players to believe that they can complete a game. It sounds like a simple baby step, but you can't do anything without taking a first baby step. So the first game that we played, we ended up playing against a team called the Plattsburgh North Stars. And we ended up losing that game 27-0. Now, obviously, I'm not really big into the whole moral victory thing, but 27-0 was better than 88-0. And, you know, two of those touchdowns they scored were because we had 10 guys on the field on defense, but I didn't have a whole lot of help. I literally had myself running the offense. I gave my defensive play sheet to somebody, and I just said, listen, the linebackers are numbered 1 through 5. That's how you call your blitzes. I just need you to read off, you know, different numbers every single defensive play for me so that I can go over and work with the offense. When I say that I was kind of a one-man thing, I was a one-man thing. That's not ego. That's just the truth. But in that 27-0 game, I found myself being very conservative. There were times where I wanted to go for it, but I said, you know what? I need to punt this ball here. And as a first-year head coach, I really struggled with that because when I went back and looked at the footage, I said, you know what, man, I should have went for it more. I should have shown that belief in my guys, and I didn't. And so that next week, we went out there, and I made a decision before the game. If it is 4th and less than 3, I don't give a crap where we are on the field. I'm going for it. And so that's exactly what I did. We converted on a bunch of our 4th downs that we had in that game. I was feeling pretty good about myself. We ended up losing the game 12-6. But again, as I told y'all before, this was a team that had never scored a touchdown before and had never been close to winning a game before. So I felt pretty good about it because I was aggressive and it worked. So what did I do the next week? I tried to be hyper aggressive again. It didn't work that time. I was playing against a coach who had been coaching for 30 years, and he basically he made it hurt. He made it hurt. It was a rough game for me. My point in all of that is, as a young coach, you go through that. You go through that self-doubt. You go through that, okay, I want to go for it, okay? I believe in my team. I got the #1 ranked offense in the league. We can't get 3 yards. And so my point with that is that as a Lions fan, when you're looking at Dan Campbell, you got to remember something. It's his 2nd year as a head coach. He's never been a head coach before. And I really hate bringing this up because it's one of the things that we tout, and it's one of the things that we, you know, love about our team is the fact that we got all these former players. I would encourage you, look through our coaching staff. How many former head coaches do we have on staff?
Almost all of them.
So I'm just saying, I don't think we have any of them who are former head coaches. They're all assistants.
Oh, I know. I thought you said
coaches.
I'm thinking former players that are coaches. My bad.
But that's what I'm saying though, is we highly tout the fact that we got former players, but we have no former head coaches on this staff. And they're all in year 2 of some pretty powerful positions that they all find.
Right.
And they've earned it. I'm not questioning, you know, how much they know football, how much they love football. I'm not questioning that one iota. I want to be very clear about that. But I also want to be very clear about our expectations, as we talked about before.
Absolutely.
So this is something with Dan Campbell, with the going forward on 4th down. Again, I sympathize because I've been there. I know what that's like. You want to believe in your players. You want to get that 4th down. You want that momentum. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for us. But as I said in previous episodes, going for it in situations that make sense doesn't bother me. And for me, what is a situation that makes sense? Because I should probably qualify that. For me, if you are at your 45-yard line or better, that to me makes sense. If you're within 44 yards or, you know, more into your own territory, punt the damn ball. But unfortunately, we didn't really do that. I don't know if our punter's injured. I know the kicking situation is atrocious. We had another off the street kicker. Don't know what was going on there, but we never trusted the guy to go out there and even try a field goal. But again, 2nd year head coach, 2nd year coaching staff. And hey, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, go in the comments below, leave a comment, say, Elijah, this guy was a head coach before. I will kindly eat my words, but as far as I'm remembering, we have got no former head coaches on this staff. And I don't know of another team in the league like that.
That's a great point. That is a great
The only
point.
thing I can see somebody bringing up is he was an interim head coach, but that wasn't for a full season.
Oh,
Right.
when he was with the Dolphins?
That's the only thing that you could possibly bring up.
Right. But again, what I'm
He
saying
turned them around a little bit, though.
and what I'm saying is his staff, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his staff has zero.
I don't think we have anybody. And honestly, I would encourage folks, look this up on your own time. Find this combination anywhere else in the league, and I will eat my words and I will shut up and I will join the bandwagon that everybody else in the comment section was on after this last game. Find me the combination of injured players, second-year coaching staff with no former head coaches on it, and on top of that, not just those two things, but also, and I'm trying to remember my third point here, so bear with me. Injured players, second-year coaching staff, and oh yeah, that's right, youngest roster in the league. You find me a combination of those three things, I'll shut my mouth. Mm-hmm. Until then, though, I'm going to keep preaching patience because that's what we're going to need.
Yeah.
So I believe Nate is trying to join us once again here. So I'm going to switch Nate's name here so that we can make sure that we know it is in fact Nate. So Nate, my friend, you and Power have been at odds with one another. I just did my fourth down segment, and I wanted to toss it over to you for your impressions of the game and your SBA for this week. I'm assuming the electric company might be a close second to the SBA.
Okay.
Man.
Man, first of all, man, my impressions of the game, man. We have to pay attention to the talent gap. When you have injuries, you really see the type of gap in talent that we are from the rest of the league. Regardless what we have when we start, there's a huge talent gap. And these guys, we have to give them credit. They're trying to do what they can with what they have. We went into the game. You're already missing 4 defensive back starters. You go into the game, you lose 5 more. That's 9 DBs. So you're taking guys that now are gunners on special teams, and you're trying to put them in a position, to be successful. But the downside
against Bill Belichick.
But
Dang.
you know what? But the downside of that is, though, this is the downside of it. You're taking guys who don't get first team reps. These guys don't practice with the first team defense. They're not practicing with the first team offense. So what they're getting, they're really being plug and play and trying to do the best they can. Now, Dan Campbell, he has to stop coaching like this is Madden. This is not John Madden. We cannot go for it every time on fourth down and expect for it to reap the benefits. Unfortunately, we have to tone down the aggression a little bit. No, this is still not fire Dan Campbell, none of that, because we still have to realize this is only the second year under Brad Holmes, second year under Dan Campbell. You're coming from a weak A team that we had under Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. So, like Reggie gave those numbers, we had 18 wins with these 2 coaches. So there's a huge talent gap. I don't like being shut out, but hopefully these guys can come back, do better after the bye, get some people back, and get back to having that number 1 offense. So now we're going to the Stupid Boy Award. The Stupid Boy Award.
Stupid boy.
It's going to go again. It's going to go to Dan Campbell. I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry. But 0-6 on fourth down is truly unacceptable. Listen, I've seen teams who kickers have been hurt, and they have called, hey, we remember the year we lost a kicker and Dominican Sue went up there and tried to kick the extra point. He might have missed, but he attempted that extra point. So that's the Stupid Boy Award. And so, man, I'm sorry again, y'all, for the power. But now we just gonna go ahead, man. We're gonna jump right into my segment, which is Inside the Den. And so, we want to I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tidbits of free information. Okay, so if you want to save time, man, by getting into Ford Field, I told you guys last time, I gave you Gate C. So now we're going to utilize Gate A. And this is coming straight from the Lions website. This is where they monitor, the traffic information. So what they're saying is the entrance line in the center of Gate A are often not utilized, meaning everybody is plowing in from the outside. Everybody wants to lean up right against the building, and that creates a longer line. Hey, you can bypass that. There's more than one way to get into Ford Field. Now, also, you have gates A through G. All these gates put you on the main concourse, except for Gate C and Gate G. So after that, Gate C and Gate G, they put you on the upper level. The rest of these gates put you on the main concourse, which is right there on the first floor, which is sections, I want to say sections 100 to 0. So if you have a lower seat, you want to make sure that you're entering off that lower section. So also, they talked about security screening. So when you get to that line, you want to make sure you have these things taken out. You want to have your cell phone, your camera, your keys, and other large objects. They're not worried about nothing else. Those are the things that they want out of your pockets that's going to speed up you getting into the game, getting to your seat, and getting where you want to be. Now, the things you do not have to take off. Y'all, this is not 36th District Court. This is not Wayne County Jail. You do not have to take off your belts. You do not have to take off watches and jewelry. You do not have to take your coins out of your pocket or your wallet. So the rest of that is able to stay into your pocket, and you are good to go. So again, y'all, thank y'all. Sorry for the hiccup, but that was Inside the Den. And now we're going to go over to the merch alert with Bobby Bless.
Hey, man, Nate, that was good info, man, because I'm going to 2 games this month, man. I'm going to the Dolphins game, and I'm going to the Green Bay game. That's the first week of November, the first Sunday in November, man. And I'm really happy you gave me that, man, because I'm gonna use your cheat sheet, man. I don't be up there like Nate said. I got this because Nate said. You feel me?
Hey, Nate said, stay off the wall. Don't be a wallflower. Hit that middle section. Hey, like Duke Staley say, hit the hole. Hit the hole, Rob.
Yeah, okay. Well, guys, merch alert today is, with the change of the weather, man, you can get change the letter a lot of the weather, a lot more of the NFL stuff you can use, man, because it keep you warm. Hats and hoodies and coats. Like, I got one of my favorite leather coats on now, man, and it's super duper warm, man. And I got it from NFL Shop. And the thing about it is, once you dealing with NFL Shop, it's authentic stuff, man. Like I've said on many other occasions, I'd rather not deal with China for various reasons, that more than this show, because we ain't gonna do no politics or nothing like that. But I just feel like man, the best when it get cold outside, when them leaves start changing, you can that hoodie weather, that cold weather, man, you can just show more of your fandom, as they say. You know what I mean? And I swear, man, that when it comes down to them hats, like, I don't know if you guys, I know many of you guys have wore NFL sideline gear. That stuff had your head sweating, man. That stuff really is warm. All that stuff really is warm. So when you think about a good winter coat, man, don't hesitate to try a Lions coat, man. It might keep you warm. It might not help you in coverage as far as man-to-man defense or the 2-2 bye. It ain't gonna cover that, but it'll keep you warm, keep you ready to game. But we're getting around Christmas time with the merch and stuff. It gets real good with the holidays, with the ornaments and stuff. And I'm like 1000% sure we're gonna be talking more about Christmas merchandise and stuff when Christmas come around. But after Thanksgiving, everybody like to put up their tree, and there is no excuses of not being a Lions fan. It's just literally none. Whatever you can put into reality, like say you walk into the car and, oh my God, it's raining, umbrella. You know that, and a lot of times I figure out what Lions merchandise I want by how it comes across me in my everyday life. Like you guys know I work at a major retailer, and my boss is a Chicago Bears fan. And when you're at work, it's hard to find a pen and stuff like that. I pull out one of my Detroit Lions pens and try to issue it to him, and like he'll write it down real quick when y'all rushing. I'm like, I got you. I had you using the Bear. I had a Bears fan using a Detroit Lions pen. I'm petty like that too, man. Yeah, I be sneaking that stuff in. I'm like, oh man, you want something to drink? I got Packer fans that come watch the game with me and stuff. Man, I unfortunately being a Lions fan in Toledo, you got a whole lot of Packer fans, and Packer friends and stuff. And you want something to drink? I put it in Lions cup. Oh, you don't want nothing to drink, then if you don't want to drink from the cup. That kind of stuff, man. I so petty with that stuff, man. Especially at work when people see me coming, like, oh my God, here you come with this,
Petty
explicit words.
Oh, whoa now, hold everything.
Explicit words.
Watch your profanity.
Explicit words. But anyway, guys, man, I just love merchandise, and as you can. Lions merchandise. As you guys can probably been telling through the podcast, when my whole body changed when we talk about that merchandise, I'll be ready to go. Put me in, you know what I mean? See, but guys, I just want you to know there's no excuses to be a Lions fan. And if you guys are ever looking for anything, let me know in the comment section. 9 times out of 10, I'll be able to find it for you. And I'm a cheap guy. I want to say another word. I'm a cheap bass, but I'm a cheap guy. So the cheaper, the better. But the main thing is you want it to be authentic. If it's authentic, right, you already know. But another thing I come across with merchandise, I hand select the merchandise that we give for the contest. And my guy Elijah, he's the great setup man when it comes to this contest. Elijah, let's tell him about this week's contest if you don't mind, brother.
All right, I can certainly do that. So this week's contest is going to be interesting because there are 4 steps involved in how you get on the wheel. As y'all know, we got a wheel, we spin it, we pick the winner based on who the wheel picks, okay? So it ain't personal, it's who the wheel picks. But there's 4 steps to get your name included on that wheel. So get ready. Step number 1, I need you to like this video right now that you're watching. Hopefully you've already done that. But if you haven't, like this video. Step number 2, leave some comments on this video, okay? Step number 3, be subscribed to our YouTube channel, all right? And finally, step number 4 involves something that I'm very passionate about, and that is I need you to go find my movie here on this YouTube channel and give it a like. If you do all 4 of those things, your name will get on the wheel. Okay, and Bobby, let's show them here as the screen is on you, my friend, what they're playing for this week. It is a Detroit Lions license plate. Looks pretty awesome. Says big fan on it. You're seeing it on your screen now, and you could win that. But again, you got to like this video. You got to leave a comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go over and like my movie. Now I'm going to share my screen here for a second, so that I can show you a little bit about my movie, so that you know what you're kind of getting yourself into. Because who knows, you might end up wanting to watch something that I made, which would be pretty awesome. So let me go ahead and share my screen here so that I can show you what I am talking about right now. So this is the poster for my film. My film is called Ballad of Billy Badass. For folks who don't know, in the morning time, I'm a radio DJ. In the mid-afternoon, I host this show. And with the rest of my time, I actually make independent films. And as you might notice here, the gentleman wearing red is me. Yeah, I play a gangster in this film. So this is called Ballad of Billy Badass. I started writing this film back in 2014. And what it's about is it was a hypothetical kind of futuristic movie where in the year 2020, the government collapses and organized crime takes over what was once the United States of America. So everybody, instead of living in all these different cities, kind of come together under one makeshift city called Quad Cities. And Quad Cities is run by 4 different mob bosses. Of course, you got my character, Johnny Love, you've got Deacon, and you have Billy Badass. And Billy Badass actually is the head of the poorest district in this story, and he's trying to make a better life for himself. But the only way he can do that is by killing every single mob boss and taking over the throne himself as the lead guy in Quad Cities. It's a 2-hour and 5-minute movie. It is not family friendly. Want to make sure to stress that it is not family friendly.
Ooh, that means I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, you probably will. Bob. You probably will. I made this
Man.
on $5,000. We actually filmed this during the pandemic, which was crazy to think about. And again, I wrote this script back in 2014, so I had no idea that the pandemic was coming, but it ended up working very nicely as far as stock footage was concerned and finding things I could use in my movie. But this movie, I paid for it out of my pocket, my wife and I did, and we were able to provide 20 jobs for our community through this film. Again, it's my first film. It's not perfect. There's some audio issues with it. There's some lighting issues with it, but man, I am proud of this thing. And so I would love for you to not just like the video, but if you get the opportunity to watch the movie. You know, this is something that I put my heart and soul into, and I pride myself on my acting ability. So if you can check that out.
Will there be cuss words?
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Tons and tons of cuss words, and you'll see me in a completely different light than you've ever seen me before. Because right now I'm like the nice, clean cut. Well, not clean cut, but I'm the nice guy wearing the nice shirt. In that movie, I am very evil. So
stop cussing, Elijah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know.
Hey, Bizarro Elijah.
Exactly. Gotcha. So again, folks, what you need to do in order to get on the wheel, I just want to make sure this is clear for everybody. You got to like this video. Okay. You got to leave a comment on this video. You got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'm going to leave a link in the comment section below for the movie I was telling you about. You got to go to that link and like the video. And
Elijah, will the comments still be an entry on the wheel?
Yes, it will. The comments on our video. You know, don't leave comments on that one, on my movie video.
Well, so you want to specify. So they're not having a comment war this time.
Correct. Yeah.
So make sure, we want to make sure you understand now, you guys are not having a comment war. You do not have to put 1,000 emojis. Yeah. You don't have to, right. You don't have to do 40 comments to think that that's going to ensure your win. Even though we appreciate it, again, continue to throw the questions out, continue to, interact with us, but that is not what's going to get you entered into the contest for that plate. So make sure, remember, 4 things, guys.
And if your Facebook name is different from your YouTube name, make sure you articulate that before us. How about in the comment section? That'll be perfect too.
That too.
Yeah, because a lot of times people live multi-lives. They got a Facebook life and they got a YouTube life. We need, if you're living on both sides of the road, just let us know your name on both sides and we'd be good.
Yes, and I certainly would appreciate that as well. So again, just to recap, if you're going to win that license plate, and I'm rooting for you, you got to like this video. You got to comment on this video. You got to subscribe to our channel, and you got to go over and like the video of my movie called Ballad of Billy Badass. It's right here on this YouTube channel. Watch it, and hey, who knows? You might end up liking it. It's my first film, and it is a gangster film, so have fun with that one.
Cuss words, yay, cuss words.
As we switch focus here, we're actually going to talk about something semi-serious, and that is when an ambulance has to take the field. Okay, now I know that was a quick whiplash moment for you there, so I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to understand that we went from joking around to ambulances on the field, but there is a point to this. So I told you earlier, I coached a semi-professional football team. In that 12-6 game that we lost, I had to see 2 ambulances come out on the field and take care of one of the players from the opposing team and one of the players from my team. So I know this all too well, unfortunately. And one of the things that I wanted to express is what goes through the sideline, what goes through the coaching staff when that happens, okay? And so the best way I can describe it is there is a battle of mentality. There is a battle of mentality. Because when somebody gets injured, when you see your teammate get taken off the field in an ambulance, there are two different directions that the team can go. And neither one of them are very good. The first one is a rah-rah mentality. The rah-rah mentality is, I'm going to win this for that guy. And everybody rallies around their emotion and starts playing with emotion instead of their head. And when that happens, you'll see guys who never miss tackles start missing tackles. Guys who never mess up their assignments start messing up their assignments, all in the name of trying to play as fast and as hard as they can for their brother who just got taken off the field in an ambulance. And so their emotion overtakes their ability, again, to play with their head, play with common sense, and do their job. Because as football players, we always see the guys hyping themselves up before a game. But when you get out there, you can't just play on emotion. You will not last in this league. You have to be able to play and do a job. And when you do the rah-rah mentality, that goes out the window. The other thing that you'll see is you might have a thumper of a linebacker, somebody who goes in there and just kills the run every single time. They're not afraid to put their body on the line. Well, when they see one of their own teammates go off in an ambulance, they start getting hesitant. So you either have people getting rah-rah, playing with emotion, or you got guys being hesitant, saying, wait a minute, this is just a game. I've got an entire life that I would like to live after this is said and done.
Right.
And neither one of those things are good when you're trying to win a game. And for a coach, this is the tight rope that the coach has to walk here. They are taught to love their players, to care about their players, but they are also taught to get wins.
Agreed.
So when they see a player get taken off the field in an ambulance, they have to somehow figure out a way to keep everybody focused on what their job is, which is to win the damn game. And unfortunately, what ends up happening with that is if you're a coach who is a former player like Dan Campbell, somebody who's very authentic like Dan Campbell, who in Hard Knocks was getting emotional about how all he ever thinks about is how much he loves his players, and I love all that, he has to turn around to them and say, forget all that. We got a job to do. And that will lead some of the players to say, wait a minute, I thought we built this thing on love. I thought you cared about me. I thought you cared about my family. And we're going to throw all that out because you want to win a game?
Right.
And so it's a very tight rope that your coach has to walk. And I'm not even going to guess what happened in that New England Patriots game, but I guarantee you mentality went out the window the minute that Savion Smith was in the ambulance and they had to pull his father from the stands and another family member from the stands. I mean, that was not a quick injury. You move them into the blue tent. And I mean, those are bad too, but it was not even quick. Like this was a long, prolonged thing. And everybody was scared for Savion. And obviously, I don't know if any of his family watched the podcast, but I just want to wish him the very best from all of us. But again, that's what goes through the mindset of a coach and a coaching staff when they see that ambulance brought out on the field. So again, this is something where we so often, think of these players as machines where you just replace a part like a car. You just replace a part and they, keep driving down the road. They're not machines. They're human beings. And as much as we love this game because it's a game about brotherhood, that game about brotherhood, kind of gets flipped on its head when you see somebody taken off in an ambulance. So I'm curious, I'll go around the room here. Reggie, what do you think of what I had to say on that?
I completely agree with you. It's a catch-22 from a coach's perspective, and not just any coach, like a player's coach. He probably felt the exact same way that his players did, but he had to figure it out for himself to figure it out for his team. And that's always going to be difficult. And a part that may not have to do with the ambulance part, but just when you see somebody get hurt, I'm going back to what happened with Tua. When Tua got hurt, and we all saw this kid get hurt,
it messes with you. You right.
It messes with you. Like we watch this kid, he stands up and then he stumbles again, and we like something not right. But then we turn around and see them throw him right back on the field.
Yeah, we know he ain't right.
And if we know he ain't right, that they know he not right either.
And there was a detachment between NFL money and dollars, and then you have his coach who should have been looking out for him and saying, "You're not playing again."
He looked like an asshole to me.
That's why I said having a coach like Dan Campbell, this is where it's beneficial because he knows what his players are thinking. He knows how they feel about it. And unfortunately, it probably did affect his decision making. We talk about that 0 for 6 on 4th down. Man, who knows what this man was thinking after that kid got hurt? Who was playing well? Who was playing well? It wasn't just
And it was an injury, Reggie, that like the announcers on the game couldn't even tell what actually happened.
Yeah.
They were trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was a scary, but that's a great point.
Yeah, like he just collapsed. He just collapsed. Yeah.
But that's a great point that Reggie just made there. You know, we can talk all day about, you know, Dan Campbell's decision making, but I mean, man, like imagine the emotions he must have been going through, because it's not like he can get in the ambulance with the player and go. I'm sure he wanted to. I'm sure all the coaching staff wanted to, but they can't. Right. So now they're sitting there trying to figure out how to do a game. Well, what they're really thinking about is this man okay? Is he paralyzed? Is he dead?
Right.
You know, like I hate to bring all those things up, but like that does happen.
Yeah.
It is a violent game, as we all know. Yeah. Nate, what did you think of what myself and Reggie had to say real quick?
Well, it's all the same, man. But my outlook is from the player side. A lot of people who really know me know I play cornerback and I play wide receiver, and then I also play basketball. I didn't have a significant injury playing football, except for one time I did get my ribs cracked. But my older brother actually, he played defensive tackle. He was 6'2". He was roughly 320 pounds. And he actually broke his back on the field.
Damn.
Well, not really. I won't say, actually broke his back because he ended up with 2 fractured vertebrae. He took a helmet to the back.
Yeah, that's a broken back. That's a broken
back. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, he was never, ever right after that. And, you know, as you know, Reg, you know, when you talk about for the big guys, a lot of people have a tendency to think just because you are bigger that, hey, you still got cushion. No, you're still flesh and bone. It's nothing but skin and bone there. So I know the impact of the man himself trying to, and what's going through his head while he's in the ambulance, while he's laying there and can't feel his extremities. He can't move. And the only thing is flashing, the only thing you can do is just let the tears roll down because you're thinking about everything and why you chose to play football. Now you're thinking about your family. Now you're thinking about, am I going to walk again? Now you're thinking about, was this a good choice to even play this game? So it is very, very hard. And being a guy who's seen it, I've seen one of my guys, man, he broke his ankle and his bone popped through his skin completely. He ended up having to have 6 screws and a plate in his ankle. So just being a teammate of something that happened like that, it does weigh on you. It does. It really takes the energy away from you even wanting to play. You really wish the game would be canceled. You just really just want to be done with it. You really don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Nate, would you agree with the 2 mentalities though of the raw?
Oh, absolutely. It is. Yeah, it is definitely hesitant. But I think that the key one is the hesitation, because you really, when you see that you don't want to play, you know how, like when they talk about your energy being zapped and just sucked out of you, all that comes out of you. That negative emotion comes pouring down on your shoulders, especially when you're talking about brotherhood, You're talking about love. You're talking about camaraderie. You're talking about fellowship. These are people, you see the handshakes, all this,
Yeah.
So when you see your brother and somebody that you battle with, you practice, you've grown to care for as a team, I'm telling you, the first thing, it's not even so much about winning the game for them. You get some, but majority of that sideline does not want to play.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Nate, now that you brought that up, so I did want to interject this 1.2. It's also very dangerous for the players as well. If you're on the field and you don't want to play, by one of those
you get hurt
guys that does want to play, and you're not paying attention and you're not protecting yourself, this could lead to other things happening on the field. And that's why it's so important for coaches to do what they can to get everybody in the right mind state to want to get back on the field
and get them dialed back in.
And then let's get home so we can get to our boy this year and check on him.
Exactly.
Bobby, we're going to toss it over to you here for about 30 seconds, my friend. Any thoughts on what we've all said?
No, actually, as a fan, I'm more mad about the damn score, I'm sitting there looking and I'm not even like processing that this man just hurt his neck. And I just really think that it made it more real for me, because even like when it happened, we got our group chat, we be talking about everything we see in the game, and I was like, right, that is a possibility why they played so bad, because they was more worried about their brother. And then when I went to work the next day, the first thing a fellow Lions fan that I work with said, "Hey man, that guy who broke his neck, hurt his neck. They was more worried about him than that game." He said it happened the second play of the game, so they never really got a fair start. They never came to work after that. You know what I mean? So I feel like it made me more. I hate to say it, it made me more okay with the loss, but I just realized these guys ain't robots; they humans, man. So I gotta take that in account. And me and Nate, we always talk about that damn morale, and that's a morale killer, So and Dan Campbell, Dan Campbell is a morale guy. So even he probably couldn't even set the tone for the morale. So this just like I said, talking with you guys helps me understand that it's just a game. These guys we got to temper our expectation more, because as you know, I'm a super fan, man. I want to win no matter what. But hey, man, they not robots. They human. But Elijah, I think we're about to go into our college part of the show. Our potential scouts, as potential scouts as we are. Me and Nate, we went back and forth with this with scouting before, man. And honestly, that's how me and Nate became good friends, man.
Exactly.
Going back and forth about this. Actually, your guy was Mixon, my guy was Kareem Hunt, and you know what? They probably still about the same level now, huh? Or which one better?
Oh man, that's a whole nother show right there.
Which one better?
So Joe Mixon.
No, Mixon ain't never led the league in school. Man, never mind. You right.
Okay.
Nate, we still got some unfinished business, brother.
Okay, so we do have a bunch of players to go through. We are going to get to that, and I know today's show has probably been the longest we've done, but we hope that you're loving the content we're giving you, because we're putting our heart and soul into this. Nate, I just wanted to run something by you real quick. The guys already commented on this earlier, but it was when your power went out, so I wanted to throw this one at you. One thing I said is the fact that I do not believe we have a single coach on the coaching staff who has ever been a head coach before, outside of Dan Campbell, who was just an interim head coach.
Great.
So what I was saying was, for our audience to go out there and find me a combination anywhere else in the league where you've got injured players, you've got a coaching staff with no former head coaches, because even though we always brag about having former players, and I think that's great, we got no former head coaches there. So they're all second-year guys when it comes to some of their positions. And then on top of that, not just the injuries and the youth and coaching staff, but we have the youngest team in the league too. So I was
Exactly.
encouraging folks to find a team out there that fits all three of those things. And if they do, then I'll be just as mad as they are. But until then, I'm going to preach patience. I'm just curious what your thoughts are, Nate.
Well, again, like I say, that's what I talked about, the talent gap. You're also talking about a coaching gap. You know, regardless, these guys are former players. Yes, they talked about it during Hard Knocks. All together, they have a combined 87 training camps together. You know, that's from player as assistants, so on and so forth. But it's still not a head. These still aren't head coaches. You know, all these guys, yeah, they have experience in their field, but to be a head coach, you know, hey, everybody goes through bumps and bruises, but you have to stay patient. You know, again, if we're going to, everybody was happy when you heard the name Brad Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you looked at what he did with the Rams. So this is only his second year. So what we cannot do, man, because we looked at Hard Knocks and because we fell in love with the way he coached, is raise our expectations over what we initially set. Regardless what they showed you, regardless what their heart, you have to stay cognizant and you have to stay mindful that, hey, the bar was between 6 and 8 wins. I think Vegas had us maybe at 4. So, yes. So we can see progress. We can see progress with the offense, but you can also see where we're still missing pieces. You know,
On that
a lot
defense.
of people.
Oh my God.
I mean, but hey, you know, but again, this is why we have patience. A lot of people didn't like the trade up of Jamison Williams. They say, we traded, but guess what? We essentially only traded 1 pick because we really, you got rid of 32 and I think it was 36, but you ended up with 2 other picks, plus we ended up 46 instead of 66.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what I want people to really do, man, is pay attention to the talent gap, preach patience. And if you're really that concerned or mad about those 2 picks for us trading up to get Jamison Williams, look at the guys that were picked before we picked again at 46 and see their production. I bet you guys will sit there and be like, okay, it ain't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah, ain't none of them rookies really tearing it up like that.
I certainly agree, Nate. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into our college scouting segment here. We don't have a name for this one, but what we're going to do is we are going to go to our first player here, and that is going to be narrated by Mr. Nate Rucker. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. These are all brand new toys, so bear with us. So Nate, tell us about Antonio Johnson.
Listen, we talking about right now what Aaron Glenn is doing with his 4-2-5 defense. Antonio Johnson is 6'3", 205 pounds, 210 pounds. You know, right now he's got a total of 80. Actually, I'll take that back. Right now he has a total of 79 solo tackles. He's got 62 assists, 10 tackles for loss. But the key, he's also got 7 passes defended. So when we talk about one of the things we struggle with, we're talking about coverage of tight ends. You're talking about range. You're talking about all that. So one of the weaknesses he does have, or some of them, is that he's not overly physical. You know what I mean? For his size. For a guy 6'3", 200 pounds, you expect him to be super, super physical. He's got those flashy plays where you can see him being physical, like that hit on that quarterback. See, this right here is a play against Bryce Young. He comes, when he's in run support, he comes with bad intentions. You know, the only thing about it in coverage, he is susceptible to double moves, so he needs to add a little bit weight. But on the plus side, though, this is the part. Man, he has very good ball skills. He knows how to high point the ball, you know, especially for a guy with that much range. You know, you're going to need that. He's able to turn his head on the deep ball. So when you see him in pass coverage, we always yell at the screen, turn the head, look around, turn the head and look. Mm-hmm. He does this consistently. And also he trusts his technique. You know, he trusts his technique. And me and Rob, y'all hear me say, technique never fails you, especially if it's your foundation. Regardless if you're tired, regardless if you hurt. If you trust your technique, it will not fail you. So he loves to, with his technique, he stays low on his back pedal and he explodes to the ball. So this is why he's able to disrupt and make so many passes. Deflect so many passes that you see here in coverage. Literally lays the guy out, ball incomplete. You cannot teach that. You can, but when a guy does it naturally, man, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Especially in the 4-2-5, and we talk about that weak side safety being able to get deep. But with him, he can get deep. You can also put him in the box. He can play run support. And so you can even use him as a spy. So the game with Jalen Hurts, him running around, you would love to have that. A guy who's going to stay disciplined. Look at this. You see how he controls it. That's even on the running back and on the quarterback. He's going to make sure you're not going to do what you want to do. That's what you need. A lot of people were mad about Kyle Hamilton when we traded up. This guy right here, I'm telling you, and I'm going to stick on this, he's going to be better than Kyle Hamilton. If they draft him,
that's the Notre Dame kid, Kyle Hamilton, right?
Yeah, who's okay. Right now he's in Baltimore. He will make you not even think about Kyle Hamilton, and he will be a starting safety in this league over and over.
So how you think he'll compliment Kirby?
Huh?
How you think he'll compliment Kirby? You think they can play? You think they can play together? Think they'll be
but the thing about that is he has the height. You see, if you even see right there, Elijah, if you could back it up just for a quick second, when he's seen the back, look back, watch it, go back a little bit more. You will see him look back, locate the ball. Look at him, he's looking, locate the ball, and then I put my attention back on the guy who thinks he's going to catch it. Look at this, simple. I know where it said now. Now I know what to do. That's simple. That is beautiful textbook technique, man. I love it. I love it. His range, his ability to play through it. Man, that's one of the guys I can see.
All right. So, Nate, thank you for that explanation. Now, on this next player, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. So, Reggie, help me out here. Who you looking at? Who's your hard-hitting linebacker?
That, my friend, is Henry To'o. Fellow Samoan brother. But he's everything that we need right now. We need an athletic running back that can go sideline to sideline. He's not the greatest tackler in the world, but he is a sure tackler. Like, he's not going to just bang you and make you feel it like my man Antonio we just seen. But he's a guy that is a sure tackler. He'll get to the ball. He plays good run defense, which is another thing that we need. And he's a smart kid too. So he's a guy that communicates on defense, gets his defense lined up pre-snap. So of course, the more smarter your linebackers are, the better it is. Because
him and Rodrigo can be nasty.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, and the fact that they can have,
oh, look at the play recognition. He's seen the sweep coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's seen it.
Absolutely.
He cheated.
Oh, that's that short tackle. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not about to get by me. Yeah, but you're not about to get by me. Now you see him in coverage. You see him in coverage. Recognition. Make sure. Got to make sure. Now you see him sideline. You saw the pursuit.
Fighting through the block.
To the ball. Fight through the block. Now, my only thing is, and when he's running, his run defense while he's in between the tackles, when a lineman gets their hands on him, he does have a tough time shedding the block sometimes. So, but that'll come with more reps with coaching up.
Right.
And really, to tell you the truth, man, just having somebody that can pursue linebackers, cover tight ends, that can communicate on defense. Like you said, I can really see him and Rodrigo playing together. Another concern will probably be his size, because he's only 228.
Man,
we're still talking about somebody that's going to be on the outside for the most part.
I stopped looking at size when I second guessed Devin Bush, and Devin Bush said,
"Hey, Devin been balling."
Right. So hey man, size. Look, as long as you can play it, like I say, and then you got to think most of these guys are going to get bigger. They're still kids, so they're going, when they
Absolutely.
transition to the NFL, they're going to get bigger.
Yeah, especially
Absolutely.
once they get that NFL program in them, man. They going.
Yeah,
They
but
gonna
and then
blow up.
then immediately he's going to contribute on special teams immediately. That's another thing that can always be an asset on this team because we got issues all across the field. So let's just
All levels.
contribute in multiple different ways. But I could definitely see a kid like this playing.
He's got some long arms, boy. He got some pterodactyl arms.
Yeah.
When he put them arms out, man, you not getting away from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, man. The arms, strong grips. So man, I like him.
And then he's a Saban coach player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he already in the pros.
Mm-hmm. And then he got a marketable name too. I'm definitely getting a Toho jersey. Is how
go. How you say it again, Reg? With the
Toho. You gotta hit your chest after you say it though.
Toho.
Yes, sir.
So Reggie, is that the wrap up for Toho?
That's the wrap up. But like I said, there's definitely a kid that I would love to see on in Honolulu blue.
All right. Well, I want to thank Reggie for that. I've got 3 players that I'm going to show you guys. And first thing I need to tell you right now off the bat, you should already know this about me. I'm a Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets fan, as well as a Detroit Lions fan. So I have seen this next kid in a Georgia Tech uniform for 2 years, and now he's playing for Alabama. His name is Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think you're about to fall in love. So good luck to you. He is a running back, 5'11", 200 pounds. And right now, like I said, he plays for Alabama. Let me get right into what I like about this kid. There is no wasted motion in the way he runs. You're about to see it right here. He's going to go one cut, make a man, lose his ankles, and he is gone.
Yeah,
and of course, you see Virginia's trying to catch him. They might as well give it up 30 yards ago.
He looks like Dalvin Cook right there.
He is quick. Watch.
He did.
Ow, somebody, he needs some milk. Okay. And
he's fast.
Absolutely gone. I love
boy
the fact because there's some players out there who don't look fast, but they are. This guy looks fast, and he's fast.
Scooting.
And he is great in the passing game as well. Some pro comparisons for him. His favorite player is Alvin Kamara. That's his favorite player. That's who he grew up watching.
Man.
But a lot of people compare him to Alvin Kamara, but they also compare him to Reggie Bush for his sheer ability to be that utility knife for your football team. We've seen him catch passes. We've seen him run the ball. We're about to see a kick return. I'll let the video speak for itself. Check this out. Boom. One cut. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't you love to see that?
And he's not running nowhere near his fastest either. Nowhere near his
Wouldn't you love to see that in a Detroit Lions uniform? Now, some people might say, well, this was at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech wasn't very good the last few years. I get that. But look at what he was still able to do when they weren't very good. And now he's at Alabama, and he had a 200-yard game against Arkansas not that long ago.
Yes, he did 3 weeks ago.
So I'm just saying, this is a guy who he's in his 3rd year in college, and I should mention that he should be a junior, but because of the fact that he came in 2020 into college, he does have an extra year of eligibility that he can use.
Nice.
I don't know if he's going to use that or not. I hope he doesn't. I hope he comes out in the draft this year and Detroit's able to get him. I would say this is that guy that you might not want to pass up in the 1st or 2nd round.
That jump cut he got is deadly. He loved that jump cut.
Now, for cons, okay, I've showed you a lot of pros. Here's the con. At Georgia Tech, he wasn't very good at running inside the tackles. However, and this should come with an asterisk next to it, Georgia Tech was transitioning their line from a triple option offensive line with guys that are like 250 pounds to a
where they can pull and move fast. Yeah.
Exactly. So they were trying to transition, and he was kind of caught in that transition. So he might not have been running it in between the tackles because there was nowhere to go. But that is one thing about him, is that his 1st year in the league, his 1st year in college, he just kept trying to outrun people, and he can do that. but obviously he's having to add more elements to his game as he's gone. He's done so at Alabama. And one thing that I did want to mention,
how is his pass pro though? How is his pass pro?
His pass pro is pretty good. Is pretty good from what I was able to see. But again, you have to remember when I saw him at
I was running triple option. So,
well, if they weren't running triple option with him, but when I saw him at Georgia Tech, his pass pro might have been the greatest, but no one else was blocking for the quarterback, so he can't block.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this: at Bama, he definitely has the pass protect at Alabama.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to throw out there is that I know that Nate loves Robinson out of Texas, and the running backs coach at Texas right now is Tashard Choice. He used to be a running back for Georgia Tech.
Yes,
he is the one that recruited Jahmyr Gibbs to Georgia Tech and was the one that trained him to do stuff like you're seeing here on this screen right now. So that's my first player is Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you could use him as a utility knife player, and I think you could get pretty far with him. And the other part about it, just real quick, is the fact that in the NFL nowadays, you can't just have one running back because the running backs get hurt too often.
By committee.
So if you've got DeAndre Swift and you got Jahmyr Gibbs right behind him.
Interchangeable.
Exactly. So that's my first player I wanted to show y'all, Jahmyr Gibbs. My second one is actually a quarterback out of Tennessee. And I'm going to talk about this guy here for a second.
Mr. Hooker.
Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. Now,
Mr. Hooker.
Here's the thing that I look at when I evaluate quarterbacks. Consistency over the course of a period of time. I don't like to bet the farm on a quarterback who had one good season in college. I want to see consistency. Now at Tennessee, Hendon Hooker is being coached by Josh Heupel, and Heupel runs a very unique style offense. Now you could say red flag right off the bat, is he a system quarterback? To be honest with you, I don't know. But what I do know is that on paper, last season, he threw 31 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. And he was completing 68% of his passes.
My only thing about that is that spread offense gives up anemic numbers. As we've seen with quarterbacks, especially to come out of Ohio State, because of that spread, then when they get to the league, they struggle immensely.
Right.
That's my only thing about that.
Do we take snaps under center too? I see a lot of shotgun plays in the pros. It's under center, man.
He was also at Virginia Tech, Bobby. He was also at Virginia Tech early in his career, and I believe he ran some under center there, but I don't know.
All I see is shotgun plays.
But one thing I will say about Hendon Hooker, he can get out of the pocket. He can extend the play. He can do things that we have not seen a Lions quarterback do in a very long time. We have been running the pocket passer quarterback situation for as long as I've been a Lions fan.
Right. Yeah, the evolution of the quarterback has changed a lot.
Even with Fat Dante.
Exactly. The league itself, has changed. And so I think what I would do in this situation, if you're going to keep Jared Goff next year, I would still draft this kid because as we saw last year, look at how many quarterbacks we didn't draft thinking that we had the backup quarterback situation handled, and then we ended up letting both of our backups go.
They was trash. Oh my God.
So I'm just saying, draft this kid. I don't know what round, but draft this kid and see how he does. Now this season, he's got 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's completing 70% of his passes. Tennessee is ranked number 6 in the nation. And this Saturday, my guy right here that you're seeing on the screen has got a date with Reggie's guy.
Yeah.
At 3:30 on Saturday, Alabama at Tennessee. You'll get to see up close and personal my guy versus Reggie's guy. Right, and you'll also get to see Jahmyr Gibbs too. So that might be a game you might want to pay attention to if you're a Lions fan, because there's 3 guys featured in that one game that we're talking about here. So let me go ahead and pause this here, and I'm going to move on to my next guy. And this is somebody who used to play at Pittsburgh, and he was a very good wide receiver at Pittsburgh. His name is Jordan Addison. He is a 6 foot, 175-pound receiver. And you might be saying to yourself, Elijah, we have 18 receivers. I get it, but you can never have too much talent. And as we've already seen in these first few weeks, we've had a lot of injuries.
Who is he playing against? Some damn doctors, lawyers, or something? God damn, they look too bad.
Jordan Addison.
Oh,
Jordan
I'm sorry.
Addison
I can't help it, man. We're looking at
played at Pittsburgh, and he played in the ACC. This year, he is playing for Southern California, and so he's out in the Pac-10 making headaches for defenses. So
he's fast, though.
But he is very fast, and you can use him in a lot of different ways. You know, you can use him running the ball on a sweep. You can throw it to him deep, as you just saw there against Duke. Again, Jordan Addison I believe he's the top wide receiver stat-wise out of Pittsburgh. I could be wrong on that. He's either number 1 or number 2, and Pittsburgh was really sad when he decided to go to USC and play for Lincoln Riley. But these are some Pittsburgh highlights of the man, obviously. But again, my theory with this would simply be you can never have too much talent. So my 3 guys, again, I've got Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama that I'm paying high attention to. I've got Hendon Hooker at Tennessee, who we'll see. We'll learn a lot about Hendon Hooker and that Tennessee offense because they're playing a tough Alabama team. And granted, Tennessee's at home, but Alabama is damn near an NFL team. Let's just be honest about it. So if Hendon Hooker comes out and he lights it up against Alabama, I think you're going to see my other co-host here say, hey, Elijah, that might be something.
Because, he's going to be going against one of, not just Reggie's guy, but the best pass rusher in college football, and Will Anderson. So
all the Alabama players is pros, or
but you got this. He's going to have pressure in his face. He's going to have to be able to escape. So that's going to be a real test for him to see how he's able to manage the game, how he's able to play under pressure.
Yeah. He got some steps. He a stepper for real.
So that is Jordan Addison there. And I'm going to switch it over here for our final college football player that we want to talk about today. And that is actually going to be taught to you, narrated by, I should say, Mr. Bobby Bless. Bobby, tell us who we're looking at on the screen, my friend.
We are looking at Noah Sewell, Panay's little brother. Of course, as you guys know, when it comes to NFL, it's a lot to do with pedigree, man. He's from an NFL pedigree. As you know, his brother is playing like the best left tackle in the league right now. I mean, right tackle in the league. Sorry, and I like his speed and I like his recognition. But the main thing I like is them hands, man. When you're in the NFL, them hands will separate you, especially getting off a block as a linebacker. But I see him more as a pass rusher, run. Yeah, a pass rusher, run stopper more so than coverage. Coverages is one of the things that the guys learn the slowest, if I could say it that way. So he's gonna have to be taught up with that. But I just like his mentality out there. He doesn't look overwhelmed. He looks like he does the film and he know how to get off the block. He don't even let those guys touch him on some of these.
He put a nice swim move
he
on
loose. Yeah, he don't let them touch him. And then he got his hands up too, man. And that's part of pass rushing. And
you got
with your hands up. Yeah, you got to keep them hands up. But the main thing I like is his pedigree. And he was all Pac-10 2021, and that was coming off that COVID year. So he's been struggling a little bit in coverage, but as he matures, I think he'll recognize his route record as he sees more football, because being that year off, it'll slow your development. As you see more football, I think he'll be able to get in there. But as far as going to that ball, getting to that ball, he can do that.
He's getting there.
He rushed that passer he rushing that passer like Bobby Boucher, water boy type. I love that. Yeah, he got some tackling fuel, as they say, right? And I
Oh
like,
no!
and I
Oh,
like
he
how,
needs some milk.
and last year against Ohio State, he had a really good game, as you can see here. And targeted now, but especially if that was Brady, right?
Yeah.
But,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but he hurt. Yeah, he be hurting them. But I think his issues with the coverage is more of calming down. He be so hyper because he jumped route.
Yeah, he got good close, especially at 250. Especially
yes, he jumping route. He's jumping routes though. For a linebacker to jump routes is cool. Yeah, and he coming in hard. He wraps up. He's not over. He's definitely not overwhelmed.
He ain't pulling
I would like.
The unguided missile.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was scary.
But yeah, but
the unguided missile.
Yeah, but I just like his pedigree, man. And we got the is that the Okare brothers or whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I be messing them names up bad, bro.
It's all
but
right.
anyway, yeah, but I just wanted to, he already a pro and don't even know it yet, being that his brother is already in the pro. And he got, and coming out of high school, he was he's from Hawaii. They moved to Utah. But coming out of high school, he was the first 5-star recruit coming out of Hawaii since Elodi Nada. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think he got the skills, man. I think he needs some more programming. And I'm not a true believer in the 4-2-5. I don't know. I think it's an expiration date on that defense more than anything. So when I'm looking for defensive players, I'm looking for more of them that's in the 4-3 area. But I think he'll be a good inside linebacker. I think he'll be a good inside linebacker.
I was looking at a couple of things for you, brother. He's 6'2", 260. He runs a 4.58 and a 40.
Yeah, and he got them long arms too. He got good arms.
He got long arms, and then they got him projected as the number 2 back.
Hey, I think he would be everything we wanted our boy Jimmy Snooker to be. You remember Jimmy Snooker, Nate?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but they took that fool in the second round, and he was supposed to go 7 to undrafted. So
I'm looking for highlights on this guy getting dragged by anybody. I ain't seen him yet, so I like.
They got him going realistically between 10, anywhere from 10 to 17.
Yeah.
So I like him. I like him, man. I just think being that his brother in the NFL, that'll bring more of a family aspect to it. And he obviously going to be with his brother on the team. He already been around the team, so it'd be easier for him to acclimate to whatever we doing. But man, we've been talking about a lot of football, a lot of Detroit Lions football today, guys. It's getting to that time to wrap it up. I just want to thank everybody for hanging in there, and don't forget about our contest. We got this good old. You won't be the number 1 Lions fan. I am the number Lions fan, but it is room to be a big Lions fan. So.
Those steps, y'all. Remember.
Put it down for the big boys.
Yeah. So Elijah, go ahead and give us that proper send off. I know it's about that time, brother.
Okay, so on the contest, Bobby Bless, show him that license plate again for me.
Yep.
Okay, so on the contest, if you want to win the Detroit Lions license plate, what I need you to do is I need you to like this video. I need you to comment on this video. I need you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I also need you to go and find the video in the comments that I'm going to put there and like that video. You don't have to leave comments on that video, but go like that video. And if you get a second, I would appreciate it if you check out the film and let me know what you think. Again, it was my first film I ever made, and I'm pretty dang proud of it. So
I want to hear some cuss words, man. I want to see it. I'm watching just to hear you cuss, Elijah, for real, brother.
You will not be disappointed. But anyway, so those are the 4 steps. Again, like the video, comment, subscribe, and then go in the comment section. Click on the link for that video and give that video a like as well. If you do all 4 of those things, you'll be on the wheel. If you don't, you won't. It's really that simple. So also want to throw this out there as we're going to go around the room here to everybody. if you like today's episode, it was longer, okay? It had all the gadgets in there. We shared screens. We showed you videos. We did all that. If you like that, that stuff can't happen without sponsorship. So please help us find some sponsors for this show. Again, if you want to sponsor a whole episode, it's just $100. If you want to sponsor a segment of the show, it'd be 60. And if you want to be on the show, be somebody who we get to ask opinions from, it's $80. Okay. So it's 3 simple sponsorship packages. But if you're interested, let myself, Nate, or Bobby, or Reggie know, and we'll get you all set up so that we can promote whatever it is you want to promote here on these episodes and keep moving this podcast forward. I'm going to go down here for 1 minute apiece. Reggie, your final thoughts on today's episode.
A lot of energy. A lot of heartbreak for what our team did on Sunday, but one thing we keep preaching is what? Patience. And then my biggest thing, of course, expectations versus reality. We wait to see the meeting in the middle where our expectations actually meet reality. And we actually get to see how good this team can actually be. But it's going to require patience, my good folks. And then, you know what I'm saying, when we start talking about what it is we want to see, what we suffer through as fans, you know, I'm 36 years old, so I'm officially at 30 years of being a Lions fan. I've seen the worst. But
dang,
you know,
I'm the senior citizen. Jesus.
Yeah. You're the senior citizen, old man.
Hey, black.
You know, what we really want to see is the level, the next step. A lot of people say, you know, the Ford family got to get a team up. Well, I want to see the energy and the focus that Sheila Ford is bringing. Or I call her Sheila Ford. It ain't her last name though. But Hamp. Sheila Hamp Ford Hamp, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. It's they got a bye week coming. I want to see them get healthy. I want to see them make the necessary adjustments on the defense and really try to get back to how we started this season off as a really competitive, possibly dangerous team. How you feel about that, Bobby?
Man, guys, my closing remarks, it's not really about the team. It's about you guys, man. Y'all even though y'all make this stuff fun for me, man. Usually years ago, and Nate know, I'll be when Lions lose, I make a whole bunch of negative videos of people messing up and going the wrong way and stuff. I just be so mad. I take it out in the film room. But you guys are gonna make it hard for me to talk about football with anybody else, man, because it's fun. And like now when I hear stuff people say, they sound like clowns, man. Y'all don't sound like Nate. Y'all don't sound like Reggie. Y'all don't sound like a lot. Y'all might be clowns. So I just love you guys, man. And it for some reason, not to even bring religion into it, I think God brought us together for a reason. And I just like every time we do one of these episodes, even down to the planet, is just I feel more happy every time I do this because I know I'm messing with a bunch of guys that really care and get that negativity out of me, man. Because you know how I was on Sunday, y'all had to beat it up out of me, but it's out of me, man. And only because I trust y'all. So
it's all good, man. It happens.
So how you feel about a defensive coordinator? What's your closing remarks? I know it's a bye week, so I ain't really got too much to say.
Well, again, man, my thing is, like I said, we just want to preach patience. And I don't want people to fall in love with hard knocks over common sense. Remember what our original expectations were. Before you seen a hard knock, before you seen any of that, you instantly knew after the draft, you had in your head what that projection was going to be. Now, my projection was 6 games. It don't matter if we won the first 6 or if they were spread out all over the year. It's still 6 wins. If you had them at 5, it's still 5 wins. You know, we don't say, hey, they're going to win 2, lose 6, win 2, then lose. Then, you know, it does. Your projection stays the same. That's what you always got to remember. And remember, this is only the second year. The second year from being away from the smartest guy in the room and big baloney. So I'm just saying, you know,
I was mad.
And he was not putting it down for the big fellas. I would tell you that.
So you know that regime is over and gone. But anybody knows, man, that changing a roster doesn't happen in 2 years, especially when you have to redo and retool, and they got rid of any type of player that was any good that wasn't from them. You know,
yeah.
So there's all places, man, that you have to rebuild. So just patience, and believe in what you initially said about Brad Holmes. So you know, this is the second year. Things will change. You just gotta have faith in it, Elijah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to close out today's show by kind of echoing what Bobby said. You know, my life has been blessed from meeting all three of y'all. And for me, you know, as a radio DJ up in Messina, New York, as I affectionately call it, South Canada, there's not many Lions fans up here. So to feel like I have gained not just co-hosts, but I've gained family through this process, to me, that means the world to me. That's, you know, you can't buy that.
I'm gonna need y'all.
You know?
I'm gonna need y'all if we're gonna do 5 wins. I'm gonna need y'all.
But,
I'm gonna need y'all.
but again, I just wanted to say, you know, when I wanted to start this, I reached out to Nate, and then Nate reached out to Bobby, and then Nate brought us Reggie. And, you know, it's just crazy how, if I wouldn't have taken that leap, we would not have been 9 episodes in right now. And so
I appreciate
one thing that I always like to do is I always like to try to take my personal experiences and motivate others. Okay. So this isn't really even about football at this point, but I want to say this from my heart to yours. Whatever your situation is, when you're watching this video, if you have made it to the very end of this video and you haven't checked out to go watch TikTok or something else, whatever it is that you want to go for in life, go for it. Don't leave anything on the table. Don't look back at this life and say, I wish I would have done this, that, or the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you that as somebody who has done it in my young 28 years of life. I still got a lot of living to do. I still got a lot of growing to do. But even in my failures, I look back and I go, man, I'm still glad I did that.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you got going on in your life right now, if there's that thing that you've really been wanting to do, I would encourage you, go get it. Okay. Go out there, go
get it.
Go do that thing. And when you do, you might be hungry. Eat some Skyline chili along the way. It helps.
Yeah.
I had to throw it in somewhere. I had to throw it in somewhere.
Hey, Nate, remember you the one told me that one of my videos got picked up by Sports Nation. I didn't even know that until you told me that.
Yeah.
So ever since then, I was like, whatever Nate say, I'm rolling with Nate. Fuck it. Oh, I'm sorry for
cussing, Bobby.
We got so far without Bobby using profanity. So on that note, folks, we gotta go. It's been great.
Thank you guys.
See you later.
Peace.
Go Lions.